Yo, what is going on? This is Philip Jean-Marie, aka Max Cooper. I'm actually here at the Power Morphicon, and I wanted to show you my wonderful helmet. I also wanted to shout out everyone who watched Power Rangers Wild Force, and even the old fans and the new fans. Also want to let you guys know, shout out to Tiger Tales. It's an audio storytelling channel on YouTube. Make sure to go ahead and like and subscribe. And also wanted to let you know, if you're going through some issues in life, remember 3 words: never give up. All right. So I hope everyone is doing well. Love you a lot. Peace.
Hello everybody and welcome to Tiger Tales X, a place you'll find stories and fanfictional crossovers written and read to you by your host, me, Tiger. Today we're diving into a brand new crossover series where I'm actually pitting 2 characters against each other. Now this can be done in the Battle Dome, sure, but I wanted to make this a full-blown storyline. So let's dive in with our new story and see where it takes us. Gambit vs. Jungle Fury Rhino Ranger. Part 1. Universe 19, a place where the tales of Power Rangers, Beetle Troopers, Kamen Riders, the Avengers, X-Men, Fantastic Four, Mega Man, and more coexist. Gambit had not long joined the X-Men, but he was still doing odd jobs for Mr. Sinister. To get him off his back, he sat in a helicopter staring at a screen in front of him.
Okay, Sinister. This is the last thing I'd do for your sad, sorry ass.
Gambit told the evil manipulator.
Yes, Remy. I know. Now, you are after this wooden clasp bracelet. Its wearer is on vacation in the middle of the mountains.
Mr. Sinister growled through the communication screen.
So, get the wooden piece of jewelry, then once it's in your grubby hands, I am a free man?
Gambit sneered.
Yes, that sounds reasonable.
Mr. Sinister hissed.
I will contact you when I have it.
Gambit told him. Then Gambit turned off the screen. He opened the slide door of the helicopter and he jumped out of it. As he fell to the ground, he pulled the ring on his backpack and a parachute popped open. Gambit gently fell to the ground, ever so softly, landing in the snow. He threw off the parachute, freeing himself. He looked up to watch the helicopter leaving the area. Then he walked closer towards a wooden house. It had 2 levels, massive walls made out of windows, and a set of stairs taking you up to the balcony, and a hot tub sat outside.
Woo! Would not mind getting myself one of those.
Gambit muttered to himself. Gambit approached the holiday house. He pulled out his deck of cards and he held up 4 cards and they sparked with kinetic energy. Dom stretched out into a yoga pose, when suddenly his phone vibrated. He walked over to the desk and grabbed it and answered it. Hey babe, plane still delayed? Dom asked. Yeah, sorry, how is the house? Fran replied on the other end of the line. Yeah, it's really good. It's nice and warm and cozy, and I'm kind of missing my fiancée, you know? Dom sighed. Yeah, I know, I'm sorry, I am on my way. So keep that fire lit and make sure to have a nice hot cup of cocoa waiting for me, okay? Fran pleaded. Yes, ma'am. Dom replied. I love you, Dominic, Fran said. Love you too, babe, Dom muttered. Then he hung up the phone and he chucked the phone onto the kitchen counter. He then heard several taps on the door. A sense of dread washed over Dom, and suddenly the door exploded into thousands of splinters. Dom was thrown off his feet and he crash-landed on the living room area floor, and a strange-looking individual walked in. Dominic quickly jumped to his feet and dropped into a defensive fighting position. Who are you? Dom asked.
My friends, my enemies, and all the horny chicks who love me call me Gambit.
The man replied. Okay, Gambit, and why are you here? Dom asked.
To make the pasta meal, then to sip some wine, then to make sweet, sweet love. No, you know why I'm here, fool.
Gambit barked. He threw several cards. Dominic backflipped, then jumped over the couch, the cards hitting the floor and couch as he landed on the floor. He stood up and saw each card glowing, then looked at Gambit in shock. Gambit threw more cards at him. Dominic got up and ran across the wall, the cards hitting the wall behind him after each step. He then kicked off the wall and dove into the kitchen area, more cards hitting the kitchen counter and cupboards. Dominic grabbed 2 china mugs and threw them at Gambit. Gambit dodged one and caught the second one. Then Dominic launched himself at Gambit, punching him twice in the chest. Then he punched him again and elbowed Gambit in the face. Then Gambit smashed the mug over Dom's head, making him stumble back. Gambit threw a punch and smacked Dominic in the stomach. Gambit then swung a fist, aiming for Dominic's head, but Dominic caught it and he pulled Gambit in close and with his free hand jabbed Gambit in the stomach, chest and shoulders, before falling back onto his back, pulling Gambit down with him. He placed both his feet onto Gambit and then kicked forward, throwing Gambit across the room as he crashed onto the wooden stairs. Then Dom jumped up and slammed his fist down. Gambit backflipped up the stairs. Then he threw more cards at Dominic. Dominic ran up the wall, the cards hitting the wooden stairs. Dom landing and threw a jab, then another. Then he threw up his kneecap. Gambit staggered up the stairs. Then Dominic jumped up, landing on the second floor. Gambit scurried up the stairs and joined Dom on the second floor. Gambit threw several cards at Dominic once again, which struck the windows and wardrobe. Dominic slid across the floor, popping up with a kick, causing Gambit to stumble backwards. Gambit grabbed Dominic by the collar and punched him in the face. Then he picked him up off the floor and threw him across the room. Dominic crashed onto the bed, bouncing off of it and then landing on the other side. Dom sat up and saw Gambit throwing more cards at him. Dom spun around the floor as quick as he could and flailed both legs up, kicking the bed up, using the bed to take the attack. Dom then landed and bolted up and ran across the second floor. Gambit chased after him and leapt forward and tackled Dom, pushing him off the second floor, both of them crashing back down on the ground in the living room area.
Just give up.
Gambit snapped. As Gambit stood, Dominic threw a kick, kicking him backwards. Then he jumped to his feet and threw several more punches. He jumped up, kneeing Gambit in the head, knocking him onto his back. "No, I don't think I will," Dom muttered. Dom turned around and walked away. Gambit sat up and threw another card. It flew at Dom, and he leaned to one side and the card flew straight past him. Dom then caught the glowing card. He then turned to Gambit. "What's going on with these cards, man? And why do they keep glowing?" Dom asked curiously as he threw it onto the ground.
You see, I am a mutant. I was born this way. Not my fault. And the cards are an effective weapon.
Gambit explained. Come again?" Dom asked.
In other words, cards go boom.
Gambit grinned. Then all of the cards across the house that Gambit had thrown all exploded at once. The entire building came crashing down around them.
Yo, Kiri Dog, you're friends with the player Piran, right?
That I am. Why do you ask?
Oh, I just saw a story about him on YouTube.
Yeah, that would be Sword Art Online, the Cornish Saga on Tiger Tales.
Hold on, man. Tiger Tales is ran by Ty Tiger, and I know this story was done by Cosplay Dude 637.
You're right on both accounts, Klein. Cosplay Dude 637 has brought back Storytime by collaborating with Ty Tiger, and they have brought his stories back to life on Ty's channel.
That's awesome. I love their work. I'm definitely checking out more of their collabs.
For exciting stories like Sword Art Online, the Cornish Saga, head over to Tiger Tales on YouTube and check out the playlist Storytime with Cosplay Dude 637. And don't forget to hit that like button and ring that reminder bell so you can stay up to date with all the amazing stories by Ty Tiger and Cosplay Dude 637.
The luxurious holiday house was now nothing but a pile of rubble and fire. Gambit pushed a large section of wood off of himself and climbed to his feet. He dusted his coat off and looked around at the burning wreckage around him.
It was getting kinda cold.
Gambit muttered sarcastically. Then a pile of rubble was blown apart by a white light, and Dom stood there perfectly fine. "Thank you, Spirit of the Rhino," Dom sighed.
Just give me the bracelet, and I won't cause any more damage.
Gambit told him. You just destroyed my holiday home, Dominic barked.
I was talking about damaging you.
Gambit growled. Dominic then pulled his sleeve up, revealing his bracelet.
Chuck it over here, and I walk away easy peasy lemon squeezy.
Gambit sneered. You want this so bad? Fine. Come and get it, Dominic barked. Dom held up his wrist and pressed the bracelet with his finger. Rhino Morpher, initiate! Dominic called out. Then in a flash of white light, the bracelet became his Rhino Morpher, which also doubled as a blade and blaster whilst he was in his ranger form. Jungle Beast! Spirit! Unleashed! Dominic called out. Then he stood there as the morphing grid and the spirit of the Rhino surged through him, and he morphed into the Jungle Fury Rhino Ranger. The Rhino Ranger stood there strong, his morpher in hand.
Sinister forgot to mention you were a ranger.
Gambit growled. The Rhino Ranger held out his morpher and the blade extended. Are you ready to feel the power of the Rhino? The Rhino Ranger asked as he dropped into his fighting stance. Gambit pulled out his bow staff and it extended. He spun it around and twirled it in his fingers. Then he stood there and he held out his other hand and gestured the Rhino Ranger to run at him. The Rhino Ranger charged at Gambit. Gambit ran at the Rhino Ranger. The weapons collided. The impact of the collision caused the flames that surrounded them to waver as their battle continued. Thank you everybody for listening to this video and checking out the stories. Of course, there are plenty more where that came from. I encourage you to check out the rest of this channel where you'll find more storylines for you to delve into. But there's even more than that. If you check out the description down below, you will find a whole array of different Tiger Tales channels. Each Tiger Tales channel is made for a specific purpose and hosts a whole array of different types of storylines. So I encourage you to check out the other Tiger Tales channels and delve into a massive amount of storytelling by myself and the Tiger Tales partners. If you have enjoyed yourself today, then please subscribe to the channel as it does show your support. Now, of course, the whole reason why I'm doing this is because I'm passionate about story writing and storytelling. And, of course, you should dive into what you are passionate about as well. So, I shall end this video with Roll with Passion.
That before we can...
Don't touch my Pringles.
Bye.